Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a review on Jordana's Sweet Lip Cream all 12 shades. So what I really loved about this Sweet Cream matte lip shades from Jordana is that they are liquid to matte. I feel like it's taken forever for the drugstore to get on board with what's been going on the internet. Between LA Splash, Kat Von D, even Jeffree Star, everybody has released a liquid to matte liquid lipstick that stays put, transfer proof, doesn't go anywhere. Even Anastasia Beverly Hills, every brand has had them, but yet in the drugstore brands have tried and failed, except for Jordana. Now this brand is owned by Milani, so if you have Milani's liquid to matte liquid lipsticks and you like those, you may like these. These are a little bit cheaper and you can see that performance. You can see that in their performance in some of the shades, but overall for the price point, these performed really well. These were about $3.99 or $4.99. I forget the exact price. I will have exact details on the price online below in a link form, so please do check out the information section. But let's start getting swatching through these 12 shades because there's so many of them. So the first shade is Creme Brulee, which is my favorite dessert, by the way, guys. And this shade had a little bit of trouble, and this was common with some of the lighter shades, causing a little bit of issue. It took a little bit of layering to get this to be perfectly opaque. The good news is that universally none of these bled, though we did have some feathering issues, as you can see here. The second shade is Strawberry Shortcake, and this had a little bit of issues too because it was one of the lighter shades, and this took a little bit of layering. But the good news is that because this is such a thin and easy to work with formula, you didn't have to worry about it getting dry too fast and messing up the feel and texture on the lips. The next shade is Raspberry Tart, and this is a super hot pink, and this performed actually really well on the lips. They are a little bit runny because they're thin, so be careful when applying them. If you want, take a lip brush and line your lips first before filling them in with the actual applicator. It helps you to get a more precise look. By the way, if you're wondering exactly how they feel on the lips when they're dry, they kind of feel like a powder, like as if you had put a pigment straight on your lip. They feel like that, but they're not heavy. You don't really notice it too much. The next shade is shade 4, and this is Mixed Berry Souffle. This is a bright purple shade. Not too many problems with this shade. Smooth and easy to apply. The next shade is Mango Sorbet, and this is a coral reddish orange shade. It's kind of within all those families at once, and I felt like this shade was very bright and very flattering. If you have darker skin tones, it may appear more orange. On lighter skin tones, it may appear more red. Now, as for shade 6, which is Cherry Cobbler, this performed perfectly. Like, this was one of my favorites of all of the shades that performed because it's a nice bright red lip with minimal issues, minimal problems. The next shade is Tiramisu, and this shade is a little bit deeper, a little bit more pink than the first shade I showed you guys, a little bit more pink and deep than compared with Creme Brulee, and therefore it applied a little bit better. It wasn't as feathery, like I didn't experience as many issues as I did compared with the first shade. Now, number 8 is Sweet Marsala Wine, and this was the worst performing of them all. This is where Milani really shined through. When I was reviewing the Milani shades, there was a shade that was very similar to this one that had the same exact issue where it was patchy, feathery. I could not get an even application, and I feel like this is where those brands, I don't know why Milani / Jordana couldn't get this shade right, but to fix this shade, if you want this shade to work on you guys, please be sure to use a liner underneath. And the same could be said about the lighter shades. You want those to work well without having to layer them on, pick a comparable similar liner and you're good to go. The next shade is number 9, which is Rose Macron. And this shade had a little bit of problems like the first lighter shade, but definitely not as bad as Sweet Marsala Wine. And the shade I thought was very pretty. It was a soft, wearable, everyday pink. The next shade is shade number 10, and this is Sugared Plum. This is a little bit darker of a purple as compared to the first purple I showed you guys. This kind of reminded me of Heroin from MAC, and it applied pretty smooth. There's a little bit of patchiness here and there, but it was easy to fix. I liked the first red I showed you guys. The Red Velvet Cake shade is a perfect, bold, deep red matte. So these have a very confectionery type smell. So if you've ever walked into a bakery when everything was like super fresh, that icing smell. That's the kind of scent that these have. It's a bit overpowering at first, but luckily it dissipates fairly quickly, and you'll only have to deal with smelling it for about the first minute that you're applying it, and after it's applied, and also while you're applying it. The last shade is Pomegranate Pie, and this is a super bright hot pink. Little bit of issue with this one, but again, you can easily fix that by just layering it up. So overall, the performance of these shades was decent. You can easily fix any problems that I mentioned by using a comparable lip liner. These did last about 7 hours on the lips, especially the darker ones. The lighter ones maybe like 5 hours. But in terms of a product that's $3 to $4, you cannot go wrong with picking some of these up, especially if you want to get on that matte lip trend. You might want to pick one of these up, especially if you don't want to splurge like 20 bucks on a liquid lipstick. Now, yes, matte lipstick is on its way out because lip gloss is making a resurgence, but if you still are a diehard fan of the matte lipsticks, you might want to pick these up. They might be hard to find because I believe they were only available in Walgreens, and I have not seen them since they sold out, but I will leave a link below where you can find them online if you have not been able to pick them up at the store. So did you guys pick this product up? And if you did, what were your favorite shades? How did you feel about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you haven't picked this up yet, is this something you guys would be interested in? Let me know. By the way, today I'm wearing Red Velvet Cake, and I love this shade. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm Recycled Stardust.